All right, we're recording. That was a quick one.
Yeah, no, I will. Get some air.
All right, it's 6 o'clock, and while April goes to check for bids, we're gonna go ahead and start our meeting for July 27th. Select board meeting. We'll start with warrants, and I'd like to make a motion that we approve accounts payable number 116 for $3,530.54. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'd like to move that we accept accounts payable number 117 for $802.50. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And those two, 116 and 117 are actually from last year. We start a new year in July 1st, but these are old bills that are still coming in that we're trying to deal with. I'd like to move that we accept payroll number 5 for $2,190.68. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I'd like to move that we accept accounts payable number 6 for $107,002.63. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And that is RSU, and that has gone up a little bit. That's her school budget that we have to deal with every month. I'd like to move that we accept payroll number 7 for $2,805.18. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And lastly, I'd like to move that we accept accounts payable number 8 for $54,140.78. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And 32,000 of that is just for ambulance services, which we'll sign today, but we do have that every year we have to deal with. And by the way, Sherry is here, in case you're wondering, if you're hearing this little echo periodically, she's on Zoom. All right, I'd like to move that we accept the minutes of July 13th, 2026 select board meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I will sign that. All right, it is after 6 o'clock, so anybody that had a bid to submit should have submitted it. We did say 5 o'clock to those who showed up last week, and for those who didn't, we said 6 o'clock, so sorry about that. All right, paving prep. There are 2 bids. There's paving prep and then paving bids, and all we're going to do today is read the amounts, read who and the amounts. We will talk about it at our select board workshop on Wednesday. We're not allowed to make decisions during that time. We will have a special meeting, I believe, Wednesday evening, 6 or 6:30, where we will announce the winner. And that will be reported.
This Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday, but not at 4 o'clock. It will be at 6 o'clock. Yeah. So, we have 3 bids. I always feel like this is some kind of concept or something, and the winner is
Is this for the track or the payback?
prep. Yeah, prep. All right. This is from Hager Enterprises. Price for all work is $1,966,800. And that is, Alex,
Can you say that again?
$1,966,800.
Thank you.
I had to read that right. I'm not used to reading those big numbers. It's not in my paycheck. Or in my my checking account. Okay. So we'll make, you want to back in the envelope, shouldn't you?
Yeah, if you could keep the
Yep,
envelope,
yep.
that's the whole thing.
All right, this one, again, we're just dealing with prep. This is Danford Enterprises. And this amount is $158,400. You got that?
Very different.
I definitely think he definitely does know what's going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all written by, in pen.
Yeah, she's.
Yeah, so.
It says
Both of
one,
those figures are correct.
that's
Oh, yeah.
$1 million, yeah.
It's in the, that decimal the wrong font, I promise you, but it's okay, because it's higher than the other.
It's a little bit higher than the other one.
Yeah.
Understatement? All right. And this third one is from SR Griffith Construction. And this is for 160,000.
Or-
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are those three bids for prep,
I go.
and we have quite a few for.
Yes, for paving. So all states, submitted a paving bid and the, JMFs, which are like the asphalt details separately. It said that in the contract, although I think it might have said that regarding, I didn't think it meant for the bidding part. I thought it was like later, but.
He missed that requirement after that was already submitted.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's two gray envelopes here.
Okay.
You could open the second one, but the first one's the actual bid.
How do I know which is the first and which is the second?
What's
I
this
mean-
paving bid, runs this chair?
It's
Okay.
in order in the file.
Okay. So this is for, again, the paving itself. Prep work, we think will be done in the fall. The paving will be done in the spring.
I should have got you.
If we can get them
Way
in,
better.
yes. I never
It's
used
a
those
lot
things.
to struggle with.
I thought they were,
I know.
yeah, but I could use it as a weapon, so you don't wanna give me one. All right, this first bid, in there, this is from, Hager. And this is, and they have it all broken down, but basically the total amount is 517,280.
See, that definitely plays in there.
All right. And he's broken it down from the reclaim, the grading and compost and whatnot, which we will look at in detail on Wednesday. Next one. This is from Paving Professionals. Jared, are you here, Jared? No, okay.
Like truck.
Okay. This amount, $472,279. And he has it again broken down with,
472, what?
472,279.
Yeah.
Okay, you're writing it down. All right, this one is from Crooker. All right, Crooker Construction LLC. The amount, total amount is 527,220. 527,220.
Personally, the first one
One of them.
Yep, got it. Yes,
is did on it.
I see now this is the A, the C part. Nice color gray. Matches the shirt. Yep. A truck during the special order, match the shirt. Okay. I'm gonna find it in a minute.
It's attached to the drawing.
The Georgia State Forest, right there. Okay, price for our workers, not there. 700. All right. Allstate Construction is the last one, and that's 520,687.75. At 520,687.75. All right, we look at these, we look at not just the cost, but also, we do a little research to find out, reputation, tax work, all those kinds of things. So, just, we don't go just by low bid. We also look at a lot of other variables. So, Wednesday at 6 o'clock, we'll have a decision. Hopefully. And normally we would take a lot longer than this because we have so many bids, but we have a very tight timeline because of the bond. We have to get something by, I think it's the first or second or something like that. Yeah, it's coming up very shortly. So we have to have something concrete to them by next week. So, so we're gonna have to make a very quick decision. So thank.
Are you gonna ask if you can have a review?
No, I just wanna look at the number on the.
Yeah, you can come see it.
Some doesn't seem right.
Yeah, it seems a little off.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, like $1 million.
Yeah, right there.
Sorry.
Not there far well.
Hunter Farm.
Oh, she's got that.
You got that already.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
we
just
go
wanna
back
take a
and-
gander at it because something.
Yeah, I want to make sure that I was saying that right. It's like $1 million is not something I often
That's
have to
some
read about.
significant crap.
Yeah,
Yeah, sorry.
Flavor?
Wait.
Oh, for Miller?
Yeah.
Who's gonna take a picture?
We got
I'll do the work, I do the pay. Yeah, I figured you left.
I figured you had a great point.
Yeah, what's your name, sir?
Alex, I'm Alex.
he's Alex. Alex Stone. His name is right there.
Okay.
That's why he does paving. That's his last name, Stone.
Yeah.
Hey,
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you guys very much.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Good luck. All right. Yeah, you guys can move on. All right. We don't bye. All right, on to citizens issues. Any citizens issues? No? Nope. All right, great. I love it. All right, road commissioner report.
We, well, I told you last time we did post office road, back door road, and we've now done the lower end by Bradford's down road. From the quick turn down to the end of the road. At the rain ain't working, can't do that quick enough, but time loads the material down there. So 140-150 yards, the jacket started on Baker's Road. Put some culverts in.
And I do know, I did see that a sign disappeared the other day and I just have not had a chance to go down there.
Baker's moving out of the way, so Jackie was trucking there.
Maybe. I saw the cones there and Jack was there today. Okay.
So. I'll let that simmer,
Yep.
then. We'll see what happens. He's got gravel out here, he's got the culverts. I can. Stay away. Wouldn't do this next. I'll get it inspected when it's done. I told him, me and Randy took a tour of the former landfill. Trying to visualize where the edge of the bank was, so I believe that people used to do that, that's what you did. But anyway, it's a mess. Looks places like a dump. Out on the road to where that fence, as I told
Yeah.
him, but we'll get it, so you can get in there and mow it. Let's start with that.
And Charlotte, just as an update and for anybody who doesn't know, we didn't realize that we had responsibility and at least once a year, we're supposed to, mow it. And so we check on it and, it's a little bit overgrown. Which is great because it hides everything, but, it actually is supposed to be mowed at least once a year. And there are a lot of trees growing up in it now.
What is
So,
that?
the landfill, the old landfill. Which a lot of people don't even realize we have that piece of property. It's on the main road between West Shore and East Shore Road.
Yeah, Lower East Shore and Lower West Shore.
Yeah,
The reason, obviously, as we've discussed, the tree roots growing into the cavity with garbage, I guess is what you call it, I don't know. You don't deal with too many
but don't,
landfills, but yeah, places don't. And we can clean it up so it don't look like such a dump.
So do you think that all of that old fencing should get taken out of there?
Oh, it's gotta be, you can't mow it, you can't even change.
So that's gonna be part of the initial cost, is to get the fencing cleaned up so that he can get his
Just
equipment.
enough to get the road down the south end of it
Okay,
and get in there and mow. And then we'll start working north with the fence cleanup and the sumac and the, you know what, cause I look for the monitoring well up on the road in the center of the property. I
Didn't
couldn't
find it.
find it because that's where the vines take over.
Okay.
Randy has been informed, there's 4 monitoring wells to watch out for. You know, I don't know how far down over that bank and be able to go, knowing Randy. Bring it in, so.
Did they use metal on those or PVC? Monitoring well, so the metal detector's not gonna help.
No, there's 4 or 6 inch, schedule 35. I'll find it, I wanna expose it, so nobody.
So that Randy doesn't run over it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, that might hurt his
Jeff
blades.
and, Garrett, we used to have a map here that had a description of that, and we cannot find it. It's been gone for a while.
There was on a poster board.
Exactly, it was right up here. And I've gone in the back room and looked and, but that would be really helpful right now so that,
Didn't get taken upstairs, did it?
Yeah, you might wanna check with Dee Dee and Ashley.
yeah, I'll check tomorrow then, but,
Yeah, I have no idea.
you didn't take it home and put it up on your wall for,
No,
Poster board stuff in the.
I looked in that.
actually,
Yeah.
you know, shows where the.
It shows where all of the monitoring pipes are, where they did just the whole description of that. And part of the challenge is it's a lot worse than we anticipated. And how much money did we set aside?
$1,000.
$1,000 for Randy to just, once a year to mow. But, I think before he can do that, there's so much other work. that he-
about a mile down the street, there's a plot of bittersweet growing, we could move that up.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
On that telephone pole, you know, it's gonna be.
We'll protect everything, right? Nobody will go in there.
I just chopped that off
They do.
at the roots and then like 6 feet high, just to see what happens.
So we'll keep you updated on what happens with Randy. Another update on the, roads, that, happened last week, was it? Or week before last, when they came through and did the,
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, yeah. A couple weeks ago, we got a couple complaints about, somebody coming down the road spraying. And since we've had an issue with Cal supposedly doing things, and we've had an ordinance, an attempt to pass an ordinance related to that, we were a little bit shocked to find out that somebody was just coming down the roadside, no protection, no nothing, spraying along the road. So, and there was no signage to know what it was. So I contacted DOT and we had a wonderful conversation, and, he sent me an email back along with 12 attachments that I forwarded to you, April. Like you don't have enough.
Love email.
But I wanted to read to you some of what he said, because he was very clear about what they do. It was DOT that was doing it. They do it every other year. And he explained the process and whatnot. So I wanted to share that publicly, since people have had an issue with this, and anybody else that happened to see it, or you're gonna now see things start to die. because of their spraying. So I'm gonna read you just a couple of his, comments, just because it's easier than me trying to capsulate it. He said, this is Gus, who's from DOT. We try to go out of our way to make sure we are not causing harm on the roadside. Our applicators are well experienced and target specific items and are not looking to spray everything. Even amongst those limited targets, we have to pass many by because they fall within our buffer zone. Some of the buffers include people, animals, places where animals or people may be, such as fields, fences, and buildings, and water. We do not spray people's lawns or any location without specific targets. Under Maine state statute, we cannot spray softwood taller than 3 feet and hardwood taller than 6 feet. People come to Maine to see trees and outdoors, and we do not want to brown out our roadsides. This program is done every other year, so at the earliest, you will not see them again until 2028. We are currently reviewing where we are flying in this region, so that may change. Our program evolves as conditions change, such as population and environmental changes. We use 3 primary herbicides and 3 adjuvants. I have looked that one up, that assist the herbicides to do a better job. And he's given us a whole list. They do not use glyphosate. It's not used for their brush control program, but it can be used for the knotweed control program. We currently do not have a knotweed program in your area, so no glyphosate. The spray contractors and crews use low pressure to help with potential drift issues. So when they're spraying, they're making sure the wind's blowing. The chemicals we use are used at the lowest possible rate to still have the desired effect and are below recommended labeled rates. They sometimes take weeks to brown out the targeted plant, but this helps to ensure we are not doing damage outside the target. We do have a program, it's called the Integrated Pest Management, where we combine other means of control besides pesticides, which include mowing, brush tree cutting, and mulching, as time and money allow. Applicators are trained annually to ensure they are up to date with the latest changes and to provide reminders on how to appropriately use our tools for control. We are also trying to control invasive plants where we can, such as Asiatic bittersweet and knotweed, and also reintroduce beneficial native plants and flowers as time allows. This last program is slowly working its way through the state. We are currently targeting selected areas on routed roads and on the interstate system. Controlling the invasive plants is an important aspect of making sure these plants thrive. We do offer individual agreements with property owners if they do not want herbicide sprayed on their property. Known as vegetation management agreements, the property owners ensure the small trees are not there and we do not use herbicides in those areas. Signs are posted at the beginning of the property and at the end. They can contact me if they have questions. So if somebody doesn't want spraying, I think like when I come out of my driveway, right to the left in the ditch is a tree. And I've been meaning to go and cut it down, and now I'm hoping it's gonna die on its own. He also said when I talked to him on the phone that if a town does not want them to spray, they're okay with that, but then the town has to take responsibility of making sure that we monitor, which of course they would love to have us do. So I'm not sure that we would want to do that, but having this so fresh after the whole ordinance issue, I thought I want to make sure that we at least shared what we did fine. Jeff, you have a question?
Well, I'm just trying to understand. What is the target?
The target is the trees.
So it's trees growing up, but they can't be anything bigger than 3 feet or?
3 feet for
Softwood and 5 feet for
yeah,
hardwood.
6 foot for hardwood. Yep. So basically what they're doing is going down the island, I guess, and looking for trees in the ditches and stuff. And
Zapping them?
yep. And the reason I asked why this individual didn't have any equipment on, any protection gear, and he said it is so low that it isn't a problem that they have to be masked or wear. You know, I know at Kelp, when Dylan was doing his work, you know, he had the protective gear on. So They did not have it on, but they do this every 2 years, and we just happened to see it happening, and which I thought, being so close to this whole issue, we at least wanted to find out what's happening, so. He did send 12 attachments to explain what each of the different pesticides and herbicides that they use. So if you want to know that information, I'll be more than happy to forward it to you, Jeff.
As I pointed out earlier too, it was a commercial truck. There was no placards on the truck, on the trailer. So that tells me that it can't be too awful bad stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, he was aware. I did tell him that it wasn't marked, it was just no warning. And all of a sudden they come down the road, and I explained to him, you know, our issue, and that we had just gone through this whole process with the town. And it was very helpful. But this is something that they do every 2 years, and I guess they've been doing it. And I don't know that anybody's ever known anything about it.
They always, yeah, they spray. I don't know what their schedule is, but I know they
Yeah.
spray everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not just within the kind of the shoulder area.
Yep,
The ditch line,
So-
they told me that.
the town road.
I would say 10 feet from the white line. The spray was going, and it was the spray, the pressure are similar to your garden hose if you were watering with a, you know, not the nozzle tight, but a pretty good spray.
And but he was, when I seen there, he was targeting specific trees, they
Yeah.
were spraying.
Yeah, and like they said, they didn't do lawns if they got, so the guy running the nozzle was in charge of when the stuff was going out, and he was watching ahead, standing in the trailer, looking ahead, and you're right, he was like squirt, you know, a yard, a driveway, nothing, mowed grass, even if it wasn't somebody's front yard, if somebody had an area that they'd mowed, nothing, then he'd get back into the brushy areas and.
Down by Don German's there, which always got that flowers up there, he didn't spray.
Didn't spray the flowers.
Didn't spray pretty much anything until you get up past telephone pole.
Yeah.
So then, you know,
They're trying to do it right.
like I say, no placards, no hazardous, can't have hazardous material because they'd have to have the placards on the truck.
He mentioned the pesticides that they use, Garland 4 Ultra. It's a main ingredient in Bico.
Bunch of words I
I don't know, yeah. Arsenal Powerline. And Escort XP. Yeah, Escort, yeah, yeah, anyway, and then there's some others, like there's one that binds the chemical to the leaf so it stays with the plant. And
So the surfactant,
what's that?
the surfactant.
So,
So.
Whatever you say. Yeah, so if you're interested, Jeff, I'll be more than happy to send it to you. But anyway, so that's a public update on what happened with that. All right,
and thank you for chasing them down.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, because we didn't know who was doing it, and when we found out it was DOT, it's like, okay, we need a phone call. And the fellow, Gus, was really, really nice, and actually he has offered to come down and do a presentation to the town.
All right.
So if we decide, and it might be valuable when we look again at it, if we do another ordinance where we're looking at who all is spraying, because all we've heard about is kelp, but here we have another professional group that's also spraying. That we
They
didn't
may
know about.
have something to offer to the public, you know,
Mhm.
questions, 'cause I don't know nothing about pesticides or any of that stuff. This guy, that's his job, is he
Yep.
does.
Yeah. I don't have his name handy, but or his title exactly, but this is his job. And he's been doing it for a lot of years, and you know, like I said, he was very knowledgeable, and a lengthy phone conversation, and then was willing to send it all in an email afterwards. So anyway, that's our update on roads. All right, let's go on to committee reports, and I think we have a Old Town Hall update.
We do at the Old Town Hall. I had 2 companies come in recently to look at the mold remediation for the under area, and both of them came up with similar quotes and similar ideas about what to do there. One obviously going to get rid of the mold, And then secondly, continue the vapor barrier that was partially installed, finish that up. And then both of them suggested coming up the sides of the inside, sealing it off after we get the new sills done. Now, we have to wait for that. And then dehumidifying that area and actually putting a commercial dehumidifier in to protect from any moisture getting up into, so. Again, we can't do any of that right now, but we do have some funds available to do that work with the leftovers from the environmental and energy efficiency funds that Lisa worked so hard to get. So we've got some, they have some dollars. Maybe not quite enough to hit their quotes at this point, but close enough that we should be able to work with it and do something.
Well, you know what, I'm gonna jump down to this as you're speaking about money. And, there was an anonymous donation to benefit the town hall. I believe it was $1,000. By the way, if any of you want to contribute, we're taking them. So, but we have to officially accept that. So I'd like to make a motion that we accept the $1,000 from an anonymous donation for, specifically for the town hall. Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Well, now we're a little closer.
Hey, every
Well,
$1,000.
We will put it to good use.
Yeah,
Thank you, whoever did that.
Yep. All right, next on our agenda is our select board business, and we have some applications and permits that we're gonna update. First is the update, the land use permit application. April, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, you guys had asked me to put, prices on that, and I had worked on that, and then I think, Gary, you had a concern about one of them, I think the seasonal conversions, that's an LPI one, that's, state fee.
Yeah, it is a state fee.
Yeah, so I took that completely off. I didn't realize that was an LPI one. I don't think there's any other LPI stuff on there at this point.
Yeah, same thing, yeah.
So, yes, this is attempt number 2 at getting the pricing on there and updating it.
Yep.
And some simplifying the copying and who's has to be copied on what. So at this point, I don't think you need to scan anything in. I'll scan it in, I'll email it and save it in a shared drive where you guys can see it if you want. I'm not gonna email every single one to you as well.
Right, you said you were gonna make a
I have a
little.
little spreadsheet.
Yep.
And I'll share it every now and then as they come in. And that way, just trying to reduce.
And what this does for us, for those of you that take out a permit, is the fee schedule's right there. So that you know what it's gonna cost. It's right on there, the different costs for the different things that you might be applying to. So I'd like to move that we accept the Town of Westport Island application for land use permit and fee schedule, both of them combined on one sheet. Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
All right, and there was a new administrative appeal application fees.
Yep. So I did follow up with Ralph on those. There's 2, there's administrative appeal and variance appeal, which are 2 different types of appeals. Gary, you mentioned the questions on the old form. So the new form and what I went over with Ralph is, rather than trying to list out the legal criteria on the form, it just references the ordinance and says, go look there, which he thought was a better approach. Cause you're gonna be paraphrasing, you can't put the whole ordinance on the form, and he'd rather have people look at the ordinance and paraphrase the ordinance.
Like the site plan review.
Yeah. Agreed. So, yeah, they're just simple forms, they're 1 page, and it kind of has that same administrative process where I.
So instead of having 2 pieces on one and trying to figure out which one to do, there are 2 separate applications.
Yeah, and pretty much, it's easy for Gary or staff to be like, oh, you're doing a variance, you're doing a.
An appeal.
They're 2 very different
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. So, I actually am gonna do both at the same time. And what I'd like to do is, make a motion that we accept the Westport Island Administrative Appeal Application and Fee Schedule and Westport Island variance appeal application and fee schedule. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
On that topic, one thing that might be useful to talk about at some point in the future, when it comes to a variance appeal, is as it's worded now, someone needs an appealable decision in order to file one of these, so they actually have to submit a permit application and have it rejected, denied, before they have the appealable decision.
Mhm.
It may be useful to, because a lot of times people will come into an application knowing that they don't meet the criteria. So it may be useful to look at a process where we could actually appeal, file a variance appeal, in advance of a permit application.
So maybe look at some kind of, flow to say if this happens, and this.
Well, it would have to be an ordinance amendment, because right now the ordinance requires an appealable decision before you can go to the Board of Appeals.
Another ordinance change, okay? Good, we'll put you in charge of it.
So is it handled like that in other places that you can cite?
Other towns, some other towns allow a direct appeal
Okay.
before the application process. I'm not sure about, I'd have to look at the shoreline zoning aspect of it, whether the shoreline zoning, statutes require an actual decision first. I doubt it.
So both of our land use ordinances in that section are identical, but I was just comparing them back and forth. And yeah, I was wondering about that. It's not 100% clear, but it sounds like you need an appeal
I think the
Which is-
legal process makes you have something that.
to appeal to the Board of Appeals, but it is
Yeah.
kind of funny because you're gonna be denied.
Cause like you're asking for like a permit by rule, an appeal by rule. Right, like,
Well.
I know I'm not gonna meet the standards, so I'm not gonna waste my time applying for something. I'll just go right to the appeal
That's it,
process.
yeah, it's just-
I
I
mean,
feel like that decreases the town's ability to have a discussion or look at things. Like you're jumping ahead
Yeah,
by
skipping a
an
step.
entire process.
Yep.
I get it, that it's a shortcut and that's great, but I almost feel like, okay, well, what are you doing that's far enough out of the norm that you are gonna go right to an appeals board?
You already know, that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if, like, for example, if somebody has a house that was built in 1950. And it's built 15 feet from the property line, and they need to put on an addition. And it's gonna be, instead of 15 feet, it's gonna be 12 feet. I couldn't approve it because it's making it more non-conforming than it already was. They may have a perfectly legitimate reason, why it has to be built in that particular way. But in order for them to go through that appeal process and make their argument, they actually have to submit the application and have it rejected, and it's always a little awkward for me, I tell them, I can't permit it, but you have to submit the application and have it rejected.
Right, but that gives you the opportunity to go and have the discussion with them, well, why can't you move it over 3 feet, or why can't you turn it and put it the other direction,
Yeah, that's
or.
okay.
Right, so it's like, I think in a lot of times people will make their plans on a piece of paper, sitting on the front porch. And they might not understand all of the different nuances of things that you understand, so. I kind of think having you have a conversation with them is to their benefit.
Yep.
And if they just look at it, and go, well, yeah, I know he can't approve this, so I'm not gonna bother asking, I'm gonna go right over here, it just seems like, hey. We can do more service by making sure it actually is something that needs to go to appeals and isn't something that can be tweaked or changed or meet the
Sure.
requirements, or, I don't know, I'm just throwing thoughts out.
Yeah, it's another perspective.
Right.
You could buy the property next door. That would fix that, right? All right, so we have 2 new forms here. All right. Now we have some contracts that we have to deal with. We have the transfer station contract, which went up a good bit from last year, I think about $10,000. This year it is $136,584. It went up, about 10,000. We pay, just for those of you who may not know, there are 3 towns that are impacted by the transfer station: Alna, Westport, and Wiscasset. And so it's based on population. So we pay 13.9% of the total budget for the transfer station. I believe Alna pays something like 13.1 or something. It's close, but just a little bit less than ours. And then the rest of it is Wiscasset pays based on their population. And we really don't have much choice, even though that was one of our items in the discretionary budget. So we need to be able to sign this. So I'm not sure. I think we've already approved it in the town warrant. I can approve it again or ask to approve it
Actually, it's
again.
not on the agenda, so I think he wants you guys to just vote to sign it.
Well, yeah, I will go ahead and ask that we approve the transfer station budget for $136,584. I started to read the total budget, which is $982,620. That's the total. That's the total budget. Oh yeah, here it is. On the page 13.7%. So I knew it was close to ours.
So
All right, so do I have
something
a?
to add to this before we sign it? So
Yep.
I did a little bit of research and a little bit of math, don't like hold me right down to the fire on it, but if we were to use a commercial service, because those are available, if the town were to pick up the tab to use a commercial service for one day a week pickup of just household trash, it's not gonna include the mattresses and the metals and all the other stuff. It would cost us $220,000 a year. So, well, we think, they just keep going up. 136 is still a pretty good deal for our residents to have a place to take their stuff to. So we'll continue to look at things, you know, there's
Yep.
always, there's alternatives, there's West Bath and there's.
We could reopen the landfill, that's
We
what.
could.
After it's nicely
Right.
mowed, yeah, you said it looks like a dump anyway.
I'm gonna charge you $135 a year to manage it.
I like that.
Yeah, and the Conservation Commission actually has been looking at some alternatives or something that we could do maybe to either, for example, there are all those people who just have their trash picked up and they have no recycling. So we've looked at, could we do some recycling here? We did look into, the one that's right on, what's that, Houghton Road or whatever, the Lincoln County Recycling Center. They had tried to bring recycling bins to different towns, and I think they piloted it and decided it didn't work. But I believe it's Whitefield that is doing something where the town has some kind of recycling process. What the Lincoln County Recycling was gonna do is they would bring the bins, people could recycle, and then when they're full, they would take them and recycle them just like they normally do when they get stuff from the transfer station. So Whitefield supposedly has a system that's working, and we plan to do a little field trip to go see what they're doing. But we are working, at least in the Conservation Commission, just to sort of look at some alternatives or maybe support some of the things related to the transportation and recycling.
The town had Lincoln County recycling dumpster behind the fire station at one point, but you need to have somebody monitor what goes there.
Mhm.
And eventually it wasn't worth paying that person for a little bit they were getting.
Yeah.
They did away with it.
Yeah, and that's why we're curious to see what Whitefield does. I'm not sure if they do it just one day a week or what, how do they monitor it? But it seems to be working for them. So we are gonna check into that because I know Lincoln County stopped because we did ask them. And they had piloted it so that, you know, they could just put right out here and you could put your recyclables and.
Right,
Right.
they get the money for it, basically, but when they started having to sort out the different stuff, it became not worth their while,
Yeah.
and it wasn't worth our while because we were paying somebody.
Yeah.
And it went away.
And if it
And
was still single stream, it might make sense.
Supposedly, they're supposed to change back to that,
Are they?
supposedly. Don't.
so if we're the only town that does it, it doesn't, it's never gonna come back economically to benefit us.
Yeah.
Because the cost of running the landfill, the biggest part is paying per ton for the trash to go away.
Mhm.
So it's still gonna cost, like, if it reduces the total by $100,000, that's great, but now we split that into all the different towns. So it really kind of has to be a unified force of,
Woolworths went to curbside pickup for the cost savings for them and saved them money over paying Wetback or whoever.
yeah,
And then come once a week. For your regular trash, and they come once a week for recycling. And that was 10 years ago, maybe. They were paying 200 and something thousand. But you've got to look at the volume of people in Lowell compared to here. And the size of the town.
Mhm.
And that is Pine Tree.
Yeah, and we're thinking, not necessarily even saving the town money or whatever, but for those people who are just using, you know, whatever service you use, and you just put it all in the dump. All in the little container, everything, that people who might recycle aren't recycling because they really don't have an option. So, you know, I like to recycle and, but I take my trash to the transfer station, so there I can do that, but if I had like Riverside and they're not taking my recyclables, then why not just throw it all in there, because they take it all. So this would maybe encourage people to recycle. But it wouldn't be any money saving for us. It would really be about trying to be, more generous, kind to the environment. Since this is the Conservation Commission, what do you expect us to look at? So anyway, we'll keep you posted on what we find with that. Like I said, I think our next step is to do a site visit and see what Whitefield is doing. So I'd like again to try to move that we approve this transfer station budget for fiscal year 2026-27. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And they need to change this. We only have to sign one. I'm gonna check to see if there's something else to sign. Looks like. It. All right. Speaking of contract, we also have another contract and it's the Wiscasset Ambulance Service. And that is also a yearly amount. This year, the amount is $31,893, and that's something that we deal with every year. And again, that was approved at our town meeting. So I'd like to make a motion that we accept or approve the Wiscasset Ambulance Service service agreement. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sherry? You there?
There is a second.
I didn't,
Oh, there is a second.
I didn't hear Sherry, aye.
Aye, I said
Sherry?
aye.
Okay, perfect.
And you
Thank
be aye?
I heard her.
I think Kim and I said it at the same time.
There we are.
I don't know if there's only one or two. Check. All right, one last contract is our audit. And one of the things that we feel really good about is that this town does an audit every single year. There are towns that haven't done it in 10, 15 years, and one of the challenges is finding people to do audits. And we have been lucky that Brewer is the company that does our audit. And so every year we have to do a contract that says that we're willing to work with them. And a very long commitment that we have to sign. but basically it's the same thing every year that says we will do this, that, and the other. So they're gonna work with us again this year. And, in fact, I think Ashley's already starting to do some, initial work to get ready for that. So I believe we have to sign something, or we might just have to approve. I don't see a signature, but I do want to move that we accept, their contract again this year. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. I know one of the audit pieces that, Ashley's been working on is the audit for the bond. They have been, they've been requesting, a lot of information, so it actually has made her make sure that everything is set. Kind of hard when it's, the end of the year just ended, and, trying to make sure everything lines up. Same thing that we have to sign.
I'll look through it if you want.
And the last thing is another, is a bond resolution that will move us one step forward. And, I was told what I had to read. There was something to sign. I knew it somewhere. I might have made. Okay. I'll read it in for you. Yep. All right, bond resolution for paving. I'd like to move that the resolution entitled Resolution to Authorize Issuance of $750,000 in general obligation bonds to finance to roads improvements be adopted in form presented to this meeting, and that an attested copy of said resolution be filed with the minutes of this meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. That moves us one step forward to doing this bond. They have a lot of requirements. You're smiling, Jeff. I know I would never done it
But
before.
this is great. This is
Yeah,
great. But
yeah.
yeah, this is the overhead with the
Wow.
bond process. That was a
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, and this is why next week we have to have the bids done, because they need to know exactly how much money it's gonna cost. But we are moving along, and we'll save a lot of money by doing the bond instead of and we still don't know exactly what the percent will be, but it'll be a lot cheaper than getting a loan.
Probably more than the one that last year.
Yeah, yeah.
I could meet the back tomorrow night because there's more cost involved in this one. The bid, and I wait for it. All seven, we're gonna get up this. Well, they must with her. Want to add some gravel in some places when they grind it. Paving the colors back in after they're changed in the shoulder.
Yep.
And some hammer work in the spring. If there's any money left. So I'll have to take the issues up with her, it's hard to get a price on. Any of that. Definitive price, nobody's gonna give you a definitive price on hammer work.
Not today, it's gonna be in the spring or something, yeah.
Well, when they said that, it's like,
We
you don't
don't,
wanna take this out. Alright, is it gonna take a day or is it gonna take a week?
yeah, what's under there?
Well, how hard is it?
Yeah, yeah.
So nobody's in their right mind is gonna give you a price on that.
So are you gonna put some of that in the bond as like a contingency piece of it, or are you gonna separate that out and not include it in the bond?
I wanna separate it out and put it in the bone
Yeah, okay,
to get up to that second goal close.
I think that's reasonable, I
I
mean,
would think,
they might like everything right down to the dots on the i's and the t's crossed, but that's not the way road work works. You don't know,
it's not my world, not Marina world.
not in anybody's world. They can do that in the bank maybe, but we can't do that on the road, so
Yep, yep.
we'll figure it out.
I asked them, and that's who got that $2 million bond and do their big road improvement. I said, did you have appraisers? No, that's what I thought it was gonna cost. That's what we went to the bond bank and got. He said there was no big hoops to jump, you know, those hoops to jump through, but no. It wasn't on fire or anything, you know, like this one appeared to be.
We're learning every step of the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, so he's like, I'm just. You know, it's paid, cause it took him a few years to get all around town. They just wrote checks out of that and they actually made interest on it. They kept it in the bank and the
Mhm.
interest they were getting paid was more than the interest on the bond.
Dude,
Yeah.
let's take out a few more bonds if that's the way it works.
Yeah. Take all the money, put it in the bank and.
By the time year 3 or 4 rolled around, you know, he had a bunch more money and I remember, well, we're gonna do a bunch of work on this road because we got the money.
Yeah.
Out of interest.
Free money.
It's actually a great idea because I think our interest rate right now is 4% at the bank.
I thought I actually said it would be 5 on this if we went to the bank.
Right.
5.5.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it was.
We're hoping like 3.2.
Well,
It was
I heard
2
like
points.
4.48 or something.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. We'll see what happens by the
That's true. We
time.
should take out $10 million. Run the town every year.
Yeah. And then put it in the savings account.
Right.
Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
we have all the money.
I think it takes everybody.
Ah.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot like government accounting.
Exactly.
But we'll see what happens. This will be the first time that we're doing this. So,
Eric, you going
and-
tonight?
I know.
one last, item on here is, you had
Oh, yes, Richard Coventry resigned from the fire station committee.
and he said it was because of,
He had health issues and some scheduling issues where he was unable to make meetings a few times and he just feels like it's time to not stress over it anymore.
and did you announce last time who, the new chair is for that committee?
The new chair is Stacy Hutchinson. And Ashley, by default, is the secretary.
He's gonna appoint someone to take Rich's position.
And, you know, I just found it today, so I haven't even given that a lot of thought yet, but yes, we'll try to find somebody that's interested. Wants to jump in.
Great.
You want a motion to accept one?
Well, I'll make a motion that we accept the resignation of Richard Coventry from the fire station committee.
I second it.
Second.
Aye,
Aye.
all in favor?
All in favor, aye.
We'll allow him to go.
All right. All right, next on the agenda is any announcements? Anybody have anything to share? Any updates?
Were you gonna do Evans Day? I have it on the list.
Oh, I
Evan Duke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it on mine and I don't know what happened to it. Evan also sent, an official, resignation for the E911. We already had approved and we'd already talked about it, but he did send in his official. And he actually added that he was thrilled that we had worked together with him. And the other thing I want to say is, and hopefully others have gotten it too, is we got a very nice card from, Carol. I don't know, Carol Rose was here 2 weeks ago and had asked, and had some kind thoughts. And so she sent us, the select board, I'll make sure I'll put it in your, box share. But sent us a nice, thank you. So nice to get something back for once in a while. Any other announcements?
I did wanna mention, there's a planning board meeting tomorrow.
Yes.
And this is gonna be the old town hall because it's a educational meeting on the
Informational, yeah.
cell phone tower thing. So no decisions will be made, but the Verizon folks will be there to
Yeah.
present to the planning board and any public who is interested and wants to attend and answer questions.
Will it be videoed?
Yeah, it's gonna be on Zoom, Sherry. I think the link is already up, hopefully.
Okay,
On the calendar, and yeah, so we'll have a Zoom, people can join my Zoom and we'll record it and put it on YouTube afterwards.
And the timing,
6
6
o'clock.
o'clock.
6 P.M.
We're thinking probably about an hour.
Yeah, and the proposed tower is for 24 post office for. There.
Which is right at the very beginning, pretty much, post office, very, right next to the one that's already there. So, yeah, I forgot about that, but that is an important meeting. All right, any other announcements? All right, I'm gonna make a motion that we adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor?
aye. Sherry, nice seeing you.
Thank you all.
See you.
All right, I gotta stop it.